This electric bike sets itself apart from the competition with its 2849 and 2271 UL ratings. What does that mean? Well, basically a fire and electrical safety. Also, it has a 4.5 amp hour fast charger, and it comes with a single 20 amp hour Samsung battery, but you can get a second battery with this e-bike. It's called the Rattan Quercus. And in today's video, we're going to check out the quirks and features. We'll also run it up to 20% grade, see how it can do climbing hills, and then we'll see what kind of range we actually get out of that 20 amp hour battery pack. They say we can do 80 miles on a single charge. Might be a bit of a stretch. We'll also check out the fast ace hydraulic brakes, which I'm kind of excited to see how they perform, and see what kind of other surprises we have along the way. So let's get to it. Ready for it? Here's what the bike looks like in the box, and here's what it looks like when you get it out of the box. The utility rack comes attached, bolted on down here, and we have fast ace hydraulic brakes. The magnesium alloy wheels contribute to a little bit more weight. Bike's total weight is 82 pounds, but these are a little bit more durable than lighter weight spoke wheels. We get nicely spec'd 180mm rotors, Kenda tires, 20-inch tall, 4 inches wide, and ready to tackle any terrain. One of the features about this bike that makes it stand out is the Rattan 4.5 amp hour charger, which will rather quickly charge the integrated 20 amp hour battery pack. 48 volts and 20 amp hours is 960 watt hours of energy. According to the official specs, 5 amps is the maximum charging cut-in. Should not discharge any faster than 30 amps, which means on a full charge that battery should be able to send up to 1600 watts to the 750 watt rear hub motor. However, the peak power is listed as 1200 watts, which means it must be limited by the controller, but it does say we can easily hit 30 miles an hour top speed. And believe me, we will be testing that soon. The bike does come in 2 colors. This is the avocado green, but if avocado green is not your flavor, you can click the link below the video to see the other color. Also listed on the website is an option for a second battery, which would mount right here if you got it. This utility e-bike does have a center mount kickstand. It's particularly useful if you're going to be loading up a bunch of weight on the bike. Here's what the seat looks like. The diameter of the seat post is 30.4. It's a helpful number to know in case you want to put a rear suspension seat post on this bike, because there is no suspension on the back of this bike. However, there is a basic front suspension, which you can adjust how firm or soft it is with this adjustment on the right. After you put the handlebars on, the first thing you notice about them is the tall rise, faux leather ergonomic grips, thumb throttle on the left, and an 8-speed shifter on the back. Mine appears to have received a little crack in shipping, and fast ace hydraulic levers. Gotta add the display and this, but first, put the front wheel on, which does not have a quick release lever, which will make it a little bit harder for a bad guy to take the wheel off. And also another noteworthy thing is you could potentially run a lock through here for the frame. Don't see that on every bike. The payload for the entire bike is 450 pounds. On the rear, we get these mounting points, and if you want to mount something up front, these are your mounting points. And one little quirk and feature I noticed on the Quercus, this bike actually has 2 kickstands. The center stand can be a little bit annoying to use sometimes, so if you don't need to use it, you can just use your normal kickstand. And I wonder what this little dimple is. Interesting. Does that correspond? No. Standard issue Welgo pedals, and I am actually not entirely sure what this is. Plus, minus an XT90 connector. Oh, duh, that's where you probably plug in your second battery if you mounted it up there. It goes there. The bike is designed to fit anybody from 5'3" to 6'5". I happen to be 6'5". So when the seat is on max height, here's what I look like on the bike. I can appreciate the second kickstand. And with the seat on minimum height, step-through frame makes it easy to get on. Here's what I look like with the seat on minimum height. To whom it may concern, here are the numbers on the motor. There are 8 gears on the Shimano cassette, 1 more than typical. There is a Sunrace M40 derailleur. Comes with a derailleur guard installed in case you knock your bike over, you don't break that. On gear number 2, the chain comes interestingly close to this kickstand. I have noticed some cargo style or utility style e-bikes will put a second little wheel up here to kind of, bring the chain like that. Once you put it on a higher gear, there's plenty of clearance. I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but we'll find out. So let's pop the battery on there. Power this display up. Wrong button. I think that should turn it on. Oh, probably got to press the button on the bottom of this battery to wake it up. Oh, that's a tricky hidden one there. There's the switch. Power. Rattan. So we get a color display. I see some blue and green. Battery is displayed in terms of percentage. Let's see what kind of pedal assists we're working with. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typical. Oh, turn signals. Woo. I see it flashing back there. We'll take a look in a minute. Right signal. Odometer. Max speed. Average speed. Time. Trip, normal stuff. And we get a watt meter. Love to see a watt meter. That's excellent. And obviously miles per hour, front and center. So we can get into the settings here. Speed limit is set to 31 would be the max. So some advanced settings if you want. Typically to turn on the headlights, you hold the plus button for a few seconds. That's how these turn on. Headlight is moderately bright. That's pretty dark room. There's what it looks like from the front. Taillight, on the other hand, is pretty bright. And putting those turn signals on, those things are actually pretty bright. Nice rear end. See that flashing? No signals on the front, however. Let's get a feel for the power. Pedal assist 5, full throttle. Dyson. But it does show 33.5. We'll see what it does under load. Right, dudes, let's go test out the Rattan Quercus, see if this thing's any good. We are on a full charge. Power this thing up. It does show us a battery percentage here, but you can swap that over to voltage in the settings if you want. It's in here in the advanced settings, where you can also do a slow start option. So we'll try some of that out. Let's try voltage. So now it shows us 54.6, and that is a full charge. In general, a very easy menu to operate. And I also found out there is an eco, normal, and sport mode that you activate by holding this button down here. So of course we have the Strava fired up. We'll track our official distance. Of course, the very first thing we're gonna do is run it up to 20% grade. And I like that it has 2 kickstands on this. But let's try sport mode, pedal assist 5. Thumb throttle only, ready, go. So I have not messed with the quick start settings or anything like that. And from a stop, it's pulling us up to 20% grade. Almost all the way on its own. So I wonder if we change that slow start from 3 to 1, what that'll do. Let's give this a try. Full throttle now. And it's showing 900 watts, 1000 watts, 1000 watts, 1000 watts, 900 watts. So it might have actually helped it a little bit. So that shows the motor's pretty strong on its own, but let's go ahead and just give it a little bit of pedal assist on this torque sensor and just see what it feels like here. So I'm really not helping it too much. It's giving me about 700 watts of power, pulling us right up to 20% grade. So as I mentioned, it is a torque sensor. Let's go ahead and feel that out on the different modes. So to start out with here, let's put it down to eco, put it all the way down to 1. What's it do if I press throttle? So that will give us just like a low amount of power, about 200 watts of power, up to 8 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. Very crisp, nice display there, color display. The polarized lenses, however, do filter it out completely. Unless you turn your polarized lenses sideways, then you can. And being that it is a torque sensor, the harder you press on the pedals, the more power it's gonna give you in proportion to how hard you're pressing. On pedal assist 1, it will basically completely cut you off though at 9 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and just bump this up on eco mode all the way to pedal assist 5 and bump it up a couple gears here. I'm already on gear number 6, just kind of barely pressing on the pedal just a little bit. It's actually not even giving me any power at all, but if I press a little bit harder, it's giving me 200 watts-ish. So we do get quite a lot of different power modes here, being that there are 5 levels of pedal assist on 3 different modes. Let's go ahead and put it on over to normal mode now. So we are on pedal assist 5 on normal mode, and feeling that torque sensor out just a little bit here. I'm already on gear number 8, so it is nice that this bike does give us 8 gears instead of 7. A lot of times we see 7 gears, and just a modest amount of power here on pedal assist 5 on normal mode. Oh, these fast ace brakes feel nice. So you really don't have to put even hardly any power at all, even on normal mode. I'm not really pressing on the pedals too hard at all, and it's showing pinned at 999 watts. This thing's got some get up and go for sure. And normal mode will bring us up to about 21 miles an hour. Let's try the next mode here, sport. So does that give us any more power on pedal assist 3? It just shows 999 watts, and that actually brings us up to about the same speed, right around 21. And riding position on this bike feels comfortable to me. I like the BMX style riser bars, even at 6'5". I can, it's a nice comfortable position for me with the seat on maximum height. And let's pump this on to pedal assist 5 now. So torque sensor feels pretty nice. Now being that it is a hardtail, it does have that front suspension, but the rear seat, you can definitely feel the bumps coming up through it. Now you could throw on a suspension seat post and that'll make your ride a little bit nicer. Let's see how it feels going over this. Oh, this is fine. The big fat 4-inch wide tires make it feel pretty plush, going over imperfect road conditions. It's just, we got the fenders, it's all right. It's just when you hit a little bit harder stuff, you can feel yourself kind of bouncing around on that rear seat, because a lot of your weight is sitting over the back here when you're all the way back, obviously. The step-through frame, you gotta appreciate. In situations when you gotta get off the bike, hit the kickstand on the bottom of the curb there. Oh well, let's do it again. So on pedal assist 5, throttle only, let's hop out here in traffic, see what kind of high speed we can hit. Darn it, the light turned red. So on pedal assist 5, giving it a little bit of help on the pedals and also using the throttle. Showing 27, 30, 31, 32. We'll get out the GPS and verify that in a moment, but it's pinned at 32 point something like that. Yeah, it's a pretty fast bike. Let's flip on the blinker here, because we do have them. And it does give us the indicator right here on the dashboard that the blinker is on. I'll leave that on until we get through this turn. Oh, we're not gonna make the light. I have a better plan here. So if you're gonna be doing like off-roading on this bike, I would get a suspension seat post for it. But the front suspension, I mean, if you just get on the pedals, the front suspension will absorb the bumps. Ah, left my turn signal on. Let's put on the right one now. Shoot, I keep leaving my signal on. I'm not used to having signals on electric bikes. Dang, look at that chain, man. You can do a little maintenance there. Let's go ahead and see what this thing does. 0 to 20. Slow start is on 1 of 4. Ready, go. 5, 10, 15, 20, pretty much. Because the GPS lags, that speedometer actually lags too. The onboard speedometer lags more than the GPS, which is interesting. Regardless, this bike accelerates pretty rapido. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna put that slow start on 4. Slow start on 4, see if that makes any difference. Now, throttle still responds the same, so it doesn't change how much power it gives you. So the slow start must be with regards to the cadence or the torque sensor. And yeah, it feels like it's like ramping up power a lot slower now with that slow start on 4. That's not what we want. But if you want a gentle ride, then you could put it on slow start 4. Oh yeah, putting on slow start 4, like really, I have it on the max settings and it's only giving me 350 watts. So if you want to make it a more challenging ride, you can do that. Put that slow start back to 1. In general, a very nice feeling responsive torque sensor. I'm kind of just like pressing on the pedals, like, and it's, you know, torque sensors, sometimes they're not excellent. This one's pretty darn good. Oh shoot, I think I messed something up in the settings because now it says I'm going 1.7 miles per hour. So with that onboard speedometer messed up, let's take advantage of that real quick here. Do a high-speed run with a tailwind, and we will measure with this GPS in the right hand. Onboard is showing us as 2.4 miles an hour right now. GPS says otherwise. This is like frozen. Oh, 29. GPS is showing 29 miles an hour with a tailwind, with a 200-pound rider. Pretty typical for a 48-volt battery. And these fast-ace hydraulic brakes, I would have to say, feel pretty freaking good. Yeah, this is a nice riding bike. I like it. I don't know, maybe I did a speed sensor, but that's gonna be a fancy car, just a Porsche. So I accidentally put that speed sensor on 12, put it back to 1 now. And now the speedometer is back to reading correctly. Let's see if we can bump this down a few gears and make this tight turn and actually make it up this hill. Full throttle. Oh. I hit the brake cutoff sensor, darn it. This is not as steep as a 20% grade, but full throttle from a dead stop. Oh yeah, we got this. So with a little bit of momentum, let's see if we can go up the hill in the sand. It doesn't quite have enough steam, but we do have the thumb throttle. And it'll kick up some sand for us. And you can feel the mass of these magnesium alloy wheels. It does make the bike a little bit more lower maintenance though. You won't break any spokes ever, but you do carry the extra mass. So it's nice that the bike does have these little bar ends here in case you knock the bike over. It's fairly durable. Got a little scuff there on the pedal, a little scuff here on the very back, but nothing broke. That's the important part. So can this bike ride off in the sand? We'll find out. A little bit harsh going over the boardwalk, but we'll come in here full steam, maybe cross paths with the Toyota Tundra. This is full throttle with the rollout, and yeah, lost steam pretty quickly there. Probably not your #1 option for off-roading. Maybe get yourself a Tundra. Get a little bit of sand up in that drivetrain. How about that? That is a happy doggy up there, and he has the longest tongue I've ever seen. Look at this doggy's tongue. The kickstand about dropped down, I think, doing that. Bro, the Tundra's coming back to get back in our collision path. So now what we're gonna try and do is run it up to the top of this cliff. It's 85 feet tall. Get a little bit of a rollout here. And just kidding, we're gonna use the 12% grade ramp up. Hey, look at this moped. So rolling into the rather steep loopy-loop section, we are on full throttle, and I feel the weight of those mag wheels a little bit going into this turn. We're gonna have to let out the throttle here. It's pulling us up. It's pulling us up under throttle only here, 6 miles an hour. So on the California incline here, showing 999 watts peaking out over 1,000 watts, 10 miles an hour, pedal assist 5, sport mode, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and that's about it, 23. So respectably solid power delivery on this bike. And we were just down there in that parking lot, 85 feet. We are 8 miles into this ride, showing 58% under voltage sag. And these Fast-Ace hydraulic brakes, this is my first time trying them. So we'll go to a brake test here for about 20 miles an hour. Yeah, these Fast-Ace brakes are really great. I feel like the Fast-Ace brake on the front here is like particularly powerful. It's a pretty good one, man. And I am actually running Fast-Ace levers on my $10,000 custom 70 mile an hour electric bike. So I approve of Fast-Ace personally. The seat is fine. It's not my favorite. I wish it was more flat. This dude's got a weapon. Boomerang training. Here it goes. It's coming back. What? Dang. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. It worked. Caught it, dude. That was amazing. So we're sitting at 56% on the range right now. We'll head on home, see what kind of final range we get on this. But let me leave you with my final thoughts on the Rattan Quercus. I mean, it's a $1,900 bike. Pros and cons. Cons, you know, it's not the most powerful e-bike I've tried. I have rode cargo style e-bikes that will climb the 20% grade a little easier, and I have rode fat tire e-bikes that will do a little better on the sand. Pros, I do like that it has a 4.5 amp hour charger, so this thing will charge relatively quickly, and that's also kind of important because it does have a 20 amp hour battery pack, which is a relatively large battery pack, and you should get some pretty good range out of it. And then of course you do have that option for dual battery packs on this. You can just slap another one right on top. So if you're looking for something that's going to absolutely kill it on long range, this bike is certainly an option. We're about to see what kind of range we can get out of the single battery pack here in just a moment. And if you do decide this is the electric bike for you and you do want to buy one, if you did buy through the link below this video in the description box, that would help support my reviews here on this channel. So let's head on home, see what kind of final range we get out of this battery. Dude, it looks like there is a fire over here. What the heck? You can tell it's kind of starting to run out of steam, 38%. So just rolling back into the neighborhood here. Hour and a half of ride time, 18.6 miles. To my surprise, battery is showing 36%. For a 20 amp hour battery pack Samsung sells, I would have thought, you know, it would be a little bit higher. I guess maybe I was whipping it harder than I thought I was. Let's check the voltage. Yeah. 46.3 volts. Actually, if I turn it off and back on, it's showing 47.9, 48 volts, which corresponds to 48%. And of course, I did pretty darn minimal pedaling today, pretty much just throttling on sport mode. So I'd say riding like this, you know, you could do 40 miles easily. Anyway, bike's pretty decent. If you want to grab one, buy through the link below in the description box. It would help support my reviews, and I'd appreciate your support. However, if this is not the kind of bike you're looking for, watch this video next. I'll catch you over there.